happy fact. This is from Woman, An Intimate Geography by Natalie Ange. The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves, 8,000 nerve fibers to be exact. That's a higher concentration of nerve fibers than found anywhere else in the male or female body, including the fingertips, lips, and tongue. And it is twice the number in the penis. Who needs a handgun when you've got a semi-automatic? This monologue is based on an interview with a woman who had a good experience with a man.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have been in a bath with salt grains, and you're playing me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know all of it. I mean, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught that bad thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down those milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who looked at it, and from that moment on, I wish I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. So, in order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons with light cotton comforters, velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things. Silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, nice place settings. I got so accustomed to this, I lost all memory of having a vagina. When a man was inside me, I would picture him in a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was tall and thin and wore khaki tan clothes. He was nondescript. He didn't like spicy food or listen to Prince. He didn't share his innermost feelings. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent his time in the shade. He had no problems or issues and was not even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change I dropped on the deli floor. When he handed back my quarters and pennies and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turned out, Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they smelled, the way they tasted, but most importantly, Bob loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he said he had to see me. I'm right here, I said. No, you, he said. I have to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light. Then he said, okay, I'm ready to see you. Right here, I waved. I'm right here. Then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I said. I need to see you, he replied. No need, I said, just do it. No, he said, I need to see what you look like. But you've seen a red leather couch before, I said. Bob continued, he would not stop. I thought I would throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can't we just do it? No, he said. It's who you are. I need to look. I held my breath. He looked. And looked. He got breathy and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You're so beautiful, he said. You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there, I said. It was like he was reading my palm. I saw that, he said, and more. Much, much more. He stayed looking at me for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. I watched him looking at me in the light, and he seemed so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob was lost there, and I was there with him in my vagina, and we were gone.